At long last, I have finally taken a visit to the Bone Temple. Now, is it worth the hype? Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? Tom Chattelbash here, and if you love movies and TV like I do, then rest assured you are in the right place. And without further ado, let's review 28 years later, The Bone Temple. And The Bone Temple takes place very soon after the events of the first film, where Spike, in that final scene of 28 years later, he encounters the Jimmy Gang, and in this one, he is fully inducted into their gang, or cult, pretty much, and he has to try to navigate that, which is horrifying because this group is absolutely terrifying. And while that's going on, we have Dr. Ian Kelson, who's once again played here by Ralph Fiennes, who is making a startling discovery about the infection through his new budding relationship between himself and Samson, the big alpha zombie that was introduced in 28 Years Later. So you got a little two-hander here. Now, I thought 28 Years Later was such a welcome surprise. I thought it was such a revitalization of this franchise, showed that there was plenty of gas left in the tank, and it was just so fresh and exciting. And I was really excited to see what Alex Garland cooked up for the sequel and what Nia DaCosta was going to do behind the camera here, because I think she's one of the most underrated directors out there right now. And I was just really interested to see where the story was going to go next. And genuinely, I think the Bone Temple might even be better than its predecessor. And a lot of people have been calling this, the middle chapter, but I really do feel like on its own, it's just a wholly satisfying film that I really think enriches the lore of this series while also delivering some really great character work that I think was so needed in the second installment to get audiences even more invested in these characters and in this story. Now, like I said, this is a two-hander. You have Spike's story and you have Kelson's story, and I think both of them are equally compelling. And not only that, but the performances in this film are just outstanding. Alfie Williams continues to be so strong as Spike. I mean, what a find he was for the first film, and I think he's even better here as he's coming to grips with the fact that even though he felt like he was saved by the Jimmy Gang at the tail end of the first film, it might have been for the worse, because this gang is absolutely terrifying, led by their leader, who's played here by Jack O'Connell, who once again is giving like an all-timer villainous turn. In my mind, I feel like O'Connell is slowly becoming like the spiritual successor to Gary Oldman, with just how good he is at playing villains and just how unhinged he can be, but also how magnetic he can be as a villain. And it's just unreal. Between this and Sinners, I mean, wow. I mean, not only does O'Connell make Jimmy a terrifying but deeply magnetic character to watch, but there are moments where you see this lost humanity in the character, where you see this lost childlike innocence to him, where given what he went through, you see that opening scene of 28 Years Later where you're watching Jimmy's origin story, essentially, with what happened to his father and, the outbreak and whatnot. And I just feel like there are moments where you almost feel a little bit bad for Jimmy. And O'Connell's performance really is just, it's that good, where you almost feel for this guy. You almost do. But the way that his character and his gang overall kind of represents this lost innocence within this outbreak, after all these years of struggling, trying to survive, and kind of their warped beliefs as a result of like what they've been through. I mean, I just thought that was fascinating stuff. And Ralph Fiennes just continues to be one of the finest actors working today. I think he's so good as this character of Ian Kelson. His story with Samson, this, alpha zombie that, like I said, was introduced in the first film, that is such an amazing dynamic that is explored in this movie, because they essentially have like this like budding friendship as Kelson is trying to like learn more about him and the infection overall. And I think their scenes together are so interesting, and honestly becomes like the beating heart of this film. The thing I've loved about these 28 Years Later movies so far is that the humanity and the heart really sneaks up on you here, and the resolution of that story between the two of them is, dare I say it, very sweet. I mean, the performances overall are just so good. Even Erin Kellyman, who plays a member of Jimmy's cult, who kind of helps Spike throughout this process and kind of holds his hand a little bit as, he's really trying to come to grips with what's happening. I thought she was fantastic too, and their dynamic was great. And as for the film itself, I think Nia DaCosta does a tremendously good job directing this film. I think she maintains the tone and aesthetic that Boyle established in that first film. But I do appreciate the fact that her filmmaking isn't as like frenetic as Boyle's was. It kind of feels like, okay, let's hit the brakes just a smidge, but let's maintain that style, let's maintain that tone, while also exploring a different area of the story with these characters. And I thought she just did such a good job in this film. I mean, there's amazing camera work, some terrific cinematography. There's still some gnarly zombie stuff that I think audiences are going to love and fans of this franchise are going to love. But this is not an action-heavy film. This is a very big character-driven film. So if that's not your cup of tea, you may not love The Bone Temple. But in a lot of ways, I think this is better than its predecessor because I love the character work. It takes its time with its characters, and its characters happen to be incredibly fascinating and interesting to learn about. And I think Garland really does a great job not only expanding the lore of the series, but really fleshing out these characters where you, no matter where the story goes, you are invested, you are locked in. And I love that. This movie flew by. I mean, the pacing's so good, but because I was so invested in these characters, I mean, this is a film that felt like so much more than a middle chapter. It's just such a satisfying sequel. And there's one scene in this film that basically you see a glimpse of in the poster and all the marketing materials for this movie that you are not quite prepared for. I wasn't, that I thought was probably one of the best scenes I'm going to see this year. I mean, it's January, but I know by the time the end of the year comes rolling around, I'm still going to be thinking about this scene. It's so good. And god damn is Ray Fiennes such a good actor. And when the story comes to a head and Jimmy meets Kelson and they're having a dialogue together and they're getting to know one another, that's some amazing stuff. Amazing character work, a great dialogue. I mean, I love the dialogue in this film. Again, Garland's script is super strong, and DaCosta just has this amazing handle on tone throughout, and she really cares about these characters. She puts them first. She's not going to go too over the top with the style, and she's just serving the story in a way that's really engaging, not only visually, but emotionally as well. And like I said, DaCosta, one of the most underrated directors out there. And even at the end of the day, when you're looking at it from a story perspective and thinking, you know, not a ton happened in this story, it still doesn't make much of a difference because I enjoyed this film so much. In my mind, enough happened that made this feel like a really satisfying sequel and continuation of that first film. Not to mention the third film, there's so much potential with the final scene in this movie, which obviously I'm not going to spoil, but is super exciting and just comes with so much potential attached to it. Please let there be a third film. I know this one's not doing amazing, you know, financially, but there's been such great word of mouth, such amazing reviews and feedback. I really hope we get that third film to complete this trilogy because I want to land this plane. I want a great 28 Years Later trilogy, and I think we can get it. Let's do it. So in the end, I'm going to give 28 Years Later, honestly, like, the more I think about it, the more I like it. And the more I think about it, the less I have any sort of problem with it because I'm trying to think of flaws that I have with this film. And I genuinely, I don't think I have any. I really loved this movie from beginning to end, and I can't wait to watch it again. And yeah, I think I'm going to give this movie 5 stars. Shit, am I really cranking that out this early in 2026? In January? The world's a wild place. Here I am, but that's just the truth. I love this movie to death. I love it so much. If you love the first film, you're really going to love this one. And even if you didn't love that first movie, I'd say give this one a shot, especially if you're a fan of the series. I think you might like this one a little bit better. So that's my take on the movie. Let me know in the comments below if you've checked it out, what you thought of it. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you think it's just okay? Let me know. Jesus, hello burp. Let me know down below. And until next time, everybody, I'm Tom Chattelbash, YouTube's most reliable movie critic.